Hello, and welcome to the BUS 125 lecture on pronouns. The point of this lecture is to help you understand the differences and uses between what we call the nominative case, or really just those subject pronouns, and the objective case, which are those objective pronouns. Subject pronouns are things like I and he and she. Objective case pronouns are things like me and him and her. We're going to learn about some special circumstances in selecting the right case, and we're going to understand a little bit about how to use those pronouns ending in self. So let's get started. With the point being, let's eliminate pronoun anxiety. To get started, I want to take a look at some of the pronoun forms that we just talked about. The nominative case, or the subject case, are the pronouns like I, you, he, she, it, we, they, and who. The objective forms are things like me, you is the same, him and her, it is the same, us, them, and the all-important whom. Yeah, that's right. We'll actually learn to distinguish between who and whom. And then the possessive forms are pronouns like my, mine, your, yours, his, and hers. Its, notice it's a possessive and it does not carry an apostrophe. It'(s) stands for it is. Notice that no possessive pronouns carry an apostrophe. Something very important to keep in mind. Okay, let's take a look at the nominative case rules. The first two, I got a new job or me got a new job. Hopefully one of these sounds like the right choice. I got a new job, and that will be rule number one. Let's take a look at the second one. The new employee is she or the new employee is her. Now, one of these might sound right, but only one is grammatically correct. And the answer here is actually the new employee is she. That will be rule number two. Let's take a look at this third slide. The new employee appears to be her, or the new employee appears to be she. And also, she thought the new employee to be me, or she thought the new employee to be I. These two are actually different. And there's a different rule. Same rule, but different situation going on. And in this first one, the new employee appears to be she is correct, and in the second one, she thought the new employee to be me is correct. So let's take a look at those rules. Rule number one is a piece of cake. Use the nominative case pronoun for the subject of a verb. I got a job, he loves vacations, who is coming to lunch. You wouldn't say, me got a job, him loves vacations, whom is coming to lunch. And rule number two should be pretty easy for you by now. The new employee is she. She is the new employee, because you've got this linking verb here. If I were you, if you were I. And your linking verb, remember, are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, and been. Linking verbs are funny in that they're like a big equal sign, and it says whatever is here on the left is equal to whatever is on the right. So instead of saying the new employee is her, because you wouldn't say her is the new employee, you would always say the new employee is she, or the new employees are they. When you've got those linking verbs, like the am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, you know that you need to choose the nominative case. And the third rule says, don't use the nominative case when it's the complement with the infinitive to be, when it's the complement of the infinitive to be, when to be is preceded immediately by a noun or pronoun. This says, see page 173 in your book, but I think it's page 154. Okay, let's move on. Rule number three is really, really easy to distinguish if you simply isolate your to be and you look to the left. Let's take a look. In this first case, the patients appear to be they or appear to be them. Well, our rule is isolate to be and look to the left. We've got a verb, and it's actually a linking verb, which reminds us that we need to choose the nominative case, they. They appear to be the patients, or the patients appear to be they. But in the second sentence, she thought my sister to be me, or she thought my sister to be I. Well, it's very, very easy when you isolate the to be and look to the left and say, I've got a noun. And therefore, I'm not choosing the nominative case. I'm choosing the objective case. She thought my sister to be me. In this third case, the girl seems to be she or her. Isolate your to be, look to the left. You've got a verb. You need the nominative case. The girl seems to be she seems to be the girl. When he answered the phone, the caller thought my father to be me. Isolate the to be, look to the left. You've got a noun, therefore you need the objective case. And I want you to give self-assessment A on page, it's actually not on page 74 in your book, but give self-assessment A in section 5.3 a whirl here. And you can pause this recording. Let's talk about objective pronouns. Objective pronouns, those ones that are like me and them and us and whom. We use objective case pronouns. The first rule is if they are an object of a verb, those will be the sentences in red. If they are an object of a preposition, or if they are an object of an infinitive. What the heck? Let's see what those look like. Well, you know what an object of a verb is. Something as simple as this. Would you say Mr. Nelson promoted I or Mr. Nelson promoted me? You know you would choose Mr. Nelson promoted me. This is the object of the verb promoted. But what about this? We bought an extra copy for he, or we bought an extra copy for him. One should sound right. That's right, because we've got a preposition here, and this is called the object of the preposition. We use the objective case. Jane plans to visit them later, or Jane plans to visit they later. Well, here's our infinitive to visit, and here's the object. We wouldn't say Jane plans to visit they, would say Jane plans to visit them. So all of these, for this first rule, should make sense just by the way they sound, but I wanted you to know the rule. Let's move on. Rule number 2, we say you want to use objective case as pronouns when they're the subject of an infinitive. So again, Mary wants us to study for the quiz. The students want her to make the quiz easier. That should also make a lot of sense. Here's your infinitive, and here's your objective case. You wouldn't say the students want she to make the quiz easier. So this should start to make a little sense too, just in the way. And when he answered the phone, the caller thought my father to be me. That concludes this lecture on pronouns, and be sure to listen to the others so you can get more details. Thanks.